Well, hello and welcome. And today I have a friend that I have met in Marbella here, that I met a couple of years ago, and she joined a choir, a pop choir that I was in at the time. And I remember meeting you for the first time and being totally captivated by you. You stood across me in the altos, I was in the sopranos, and I couldn't work out what it was that I was captivated to. You're a very beautiful woman, but there's something about your energy that just felt different within the choir, and that captivated me. I didn't know at the time you were spiritual. I knew nothing about you, but I felt that energy, and we weren't together long in the choir, perhaps a couple of terms, something like that. And
Probably.
you went off to do other things. But yeah, that's how we met. Singing is our thing, isn't it? Singing is one of our spiritual homes.
It is definitely, yes.
And we've crossed paths in the spiritual community here in Marbella, and I know that that's a big part of your life. So in asking you to join me on the podcast, it was when I offered what you would like to do, you suggested, well, what about a relationship with myself? And again, that's something that hasn't been covered, although many would like to cover it. And I do believe it's probably one of the most important relationships that we have with ourselves is if we can find ourselves, if we learn to love ourselves and understand ourselves, we know what we want in other relationships. So that's what we're going to thrash about today.
Beautiful, yes.
So I would like to welcome to the stage today Kasia Kabza, originating from Poland. So welcome to the show.
Thank you, yes, and thank you for having me. It's really beautiful because the ad of your podcast has been popping up on my social medias for like probably around 2 months. And then on my own spiritual journey, there was a moment when a part of me said, okay, now is the time you're going to message Deb and we will chat and you will tell that you would love to come for the podcast. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. And I actually then saw myself doing it. And, so then before when we met or like I would be hesitant to do that. But then actually here I knew I was meant to come and reconnect with you for whatever reason we here today, and anything else what's going to come. So very happy.
It's amazing that you had that draw. You just knew it was the right time. And for me, you're the first one that's come to me and asked for it if they could join the show. I thought, oh, this is working. This is working. So well done for taking that first step. Well done for being the first one. And let's hope that it gives others the courage to step forward and come and talk about whatever they want.
Yeah. Yeah.
So today is your stage. This is your moment to talk about you. So what about telling the listeners who you are and a history of you?
Yes. So I have a story. I have stories of my past. I have stories of, where I grew up and where I went to school and how I lived in London for many years. But now I'm here in south of Spain. And in all those years, I've been guided to land here, to live here, and actually to step into spiritual path and shamanic path. So it's not only about the spiritual journey, but having very deep connection with shamanic energy, which I feel in myself, and I know this is what I'm meant to be doing. So this is a very new path opened for me here. So I'm shamanic energy medicine practitioner, and I follow this path in whichever direction takes me, being with you on a podcast, organizing an event. So that's what I do. I also have my own creative expression. So I design the jewelry, and I'm growing in that side. So that's another project, or another activity I have.
And
And
that
then apart,
your jewelry has a really unusual theme, doesn't it? Because it's instrument related.
yes, it's
Yeah,
music related.
yeah,
So
yeah.
we use pieces of music instruments,
Like
and some of them,
dials and guitar
yes,
tuning kit pegs, and
yes,
yeah, yeah.
yes,
It's very
yes,
clever.
yes, yes, yes. It's something very special, which I
Mm,
love, and part of me was always, and that's going to come up during our conversation as well. Part of me was, for some time, keeping it in a closet, but now it's like, no, this is you. You have to be accountable to that relationship to yourself, right? And
mm.
step into that role and be doing this. So that's what I grow as well. Yeah, and just enjoying being here in a very different environment as well. So I lived in London for many years. Obviously, being in south of Spain is completely different environment, but it's definitely fulfilling. So enjoying that.
And did you have a life before your shamanic beliefs? What was your career before that?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. So I fell into something what I've received from outside I'm good at. And I followed this path, not finding the fulfillment, not fulfilling myself in any way. And I was in project management for like 10 years in corporate world,
Mm.
right? And then the energy, the world said, this is enough, and then finished all the commitments there, right? One
What
after
were the
another.
signs? What were the signs that were closing it off?
So I moved from permanent, working on permanent contract. Permanent contracts. I moved to contracting, so short term, like 6 months, a year. But then the contract stopped renewing, right? And then all of a sudden there was space creating for something to come.
So the universe was shutting it down.
Yes. So
Yeah.
it was detaching, saying, okay, well, you need a resource for this, so we're going to give you a resource for this. And once you pay that off, then we will finish, right? And then it was going away. So then the space appeared. And it was really incredible. That came to me the other day as well. In that life, I had resource in money, but I had no resource in energy. I had no resource in inspiration, creativity, happiness, fulfillment, passion.
So it was a very
Right?
physical world. It wasn't.
Yes.
It was from without, not within.
Yes. And then seeing now, that's what made me come and say, I think let's talk about the relationship with yourself. Because I did not have a relationship with myself that time. Right? It was looking for everything what I was needing outside of me, right? So, I don't know if I'm good at it. Let me go and check out what others say, right? Yes. And then me inside, I was like, oh, maybe I don't want to actually do it. Maybe it's not for me. But because I didn't hear myself enough and didn't have that relationship. Yes. All around, yes. It
It's a
was just
very
coming.
human thing that we do, isn't it? As we're trying to work
Yeah.
ourselves out, is that we feel like we have to find it out there, whether it's in a job, whether it's in a friendship group, whether it's in a relationship. We think the answers are out there, and really we're all just weaving our way through to just see if we catch something. And we do get signs along the way, don't we? We do get, oh, I like that person, or oh, that felt good, which are all clues to us.
Definitely. Well, you know, now when we're talking about that, when I'm talking about that with you, so we are meant to live together as a community, as a society, as a nation, as unity, right? We all one. If you get, if I'm abundant, I want you to receive that abundance as well, right? We are here to grow together, not really separate. So being and going out to the world is really important, because you see yourself through other people, right? You will notice, oh yeah, I had very weird reaction to that person. So what does it tell me about me, right?
What's it mirroring back?
Exactly. What is mirroring back? That's really important to remember when you're looking for yourself. But it only really works when you have a core here, right? Because otherwise you get overwhelmed by everything outside, to the point that you change yourself like a flag, right? So today I'm green, tomorrow I'm red, next day I'm blue, and then I'm just going to mix it all up, right? And then the energy gets scattered. And that's what like brings you to, okay, where am I here now, right? What am I? And so then you can search yourself.
If you take it back to when you were doing the corporate work and giving out and trying to fit into that world, in what way were you getting signals that this wasn't right, that you were getting further and further away from yourself? Was it physical, mental, emotional?
Oh, yes. So, yeah, probably around 3 or 4 burnouts, and got to the point that I went on sick leave, having a very deep burnout, doing cognitive behavioral therapy with a coach for myself to find the answers, right? To find myself. But now I know that in my case, there wasn't enough. There was so much that was so much deeper to go within me and be willing to do the work on myself in order then for it to work, right? Maybe when I had that therapy now, it would have been different. But yes, so those were the signs. Then obviously mentally, emotionally, you are in a fight and flight mode all the time, right? Whenever any small trigger comes to you, you blow up with the amount of everything you're holding, the heaviness, right? Yes. And then there was a call, and I believe that call came from support from universe as well, saying, hey, you have to leave. That's not a place for you to live there any longer. And all of a sudden, everything started to, fall into place together, right? Once that decision came. So that was beautiful.
And what made the difference between listening to that and all those signals that your body and your mind were giving you before that you weren't listening to? What had changed, do you think, that all of a sudden you listened? And
yes, so the decision to leave London and change life came from my boyfriend, someone who I love, right? And we've been together for that time, probably for about 5 years, living together. And that was a call from the heart, right? That was a call from the soul. I felt my heart, not knowing as deep as I know now about the energetic systems and everything what I'm working with, and not being awakened, right? Because when you awaken, like, you feel the body responding in different ways depend where you are and who you are with. Your consciousness is the awareness is much deeper. But then I just felt like my heart was like, you go there, you go with him. And it was really incredible because my mind like didn't say anything. It was just like, yeah, we go.
So
And I
knowing,
was
isn't
really,
it?
yes. And I was really surprised that there was like, yeah, we just go, right? And then obviously preparation of all of that, but then there was no need to even like control the preparation of the change, right? Like, because it came so deep from my heart, knowing, no, this is the path. This is the step, right? This is what we were waiting for. Yeah.
I think I can offer a very similar example. I think I know that feeling is during lockdown. I woke up one morning and there was a really strong voice in my head that said, Deb, move to Spain. And I got out of bed and I thought, yeah, okay. And I'm not a person that really jumps to things that quickly. It just felt this huge energy pull. There was a huge clarity and there's no question. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Very
Right.
fateful moment, but it's hard to describe, but it is just a complete knowing in the moment.
Yes.
Mm.
It's very powerful.
Mm. So you listen to that, and you've learned over time to listen to that more and more.
Yes. And now it's a guide, right? So we all have very different voices coming from different parts of us. But the base of like building the relationship with yourself is learning, okay, which voice is the one, right? And strengthening that voice. And that's a voice of your intuition, right? So every one of us has a soul, and that soul is obviously on a spiritual level, connected with the energetic of your body, which is similar to your nervous system, endocrine system, and all that, right? So it's another system which everybody has, and the soul is really deeply connected with your body and all the systems. And the way how it communicates with you is through your intuition, right? And that intuition is that voice. And also it connects with the universe, right? So when you sometimes get those hints, right? It's not because all of the sudden you needed more sun, right? And you moved to Spain. It's because there was an opportunity and you decided to respond on a call, right? And then listen to that intuition coming from within you, right?
So how could you define the difference between intuition and a head thought?
Yes. So intuition, it's very deep. It almost comes from like your body, not from your mind. So we get so many thoughts in your mind. Or you think about shopping, you think about maybe messaging this person, or you think, oh, maybe I'm going to read this, or maybe I should be doing that, right? All those are staying here. If you start watching them, they are here. Sometimes they also part of, some like anxious expression or anxiety, right? Those like running thoughts and it's shooting and I need to and all that, like thoughts about pressure, right? And related to it. So they already stay here. The intuition comes from your body. You might feel it in your belly, like that. It's not that belly is going to talk to you. I'm not going that deep into understanding. It's more like you feel it deep inside you, and it has almost like an impulse to it, right? Like you feel it, that that's important, and you meant to take that, that direction. And very often it comes back. If you don't take action on it, a few days later, it will come back. It will nudge you, right? Thoughts are normally coming back and forth, but they have like different context, different message. They are very light. The intuition is like a heavier feeling in your body.
It's very
That's
direct and
how
succinct, isn't it? It's like a,
yes,
it
yes,
just hits you.
exactly.
And when we go into our head, we overlay, we question it.
Yes.
There's just a knowing, isn't there?
Yes. And also that questioning it is the anxiety, right? That's the overthinking, overanalyzing expression. And it's for you to experience both and learn, oh, this is my intuition telling now. Oh yeah, now I'm overthinking, right? Now I have running thoughts because, whatever is happening in life or whatever is happening in my day, right? Yeah.
So when I'm working with clients and they come in and we're talking about how to find themselves, and they're, but what does that mean? How do I find myself? And I think the intuition is one of the first guides, isn't it? Is learning to go in and listen to ourselves, because we're getting those messages all the time, and it's where it sows the seed.
Yeah. From my experience, it's also about clearing the noise around and within you. That's really important. And I'm saying that from my own experience, right? Because I rarely listened to my intuition when I was in the corporate world. Oh, I wish I was. would have been different, right? But it's fine. Like, obviously there was a journey, so I'm happy that it took me that way. But it's very often you can just, as you're saying, you hear it, but there's so much out there and inside you that it's, from my experience, clearing some patterns, clearing some behaviors which are not mine, right? That, for example, like judging someone, right? Like all those, or being afraid of, I don't know, like being judged, right? Or so all those energies, because every emotion is an energy. So we hold them if we don't feel them, right? We hold them if we suppress them. And they hold space in us, in our physical body, in our mental body, in our emotional body. So one thing is to strengthening, how do I hear myself? Where is that intuition coming from, right? Which part of my body? That's also really important to understand that. But then it's also, okay, this is not mine, right? I'm making space for myself. And that really was a game changer for me when my healing journey started. Because I did a little bit of, aligning myself to my intuition. But it only really started to happen to me once I remove the garbage, right? And things which are not mine from myself. Yes.
Do you have a defining moment when you felt like you woke up to yourself? Was there an event or something that happened that was the catharsis to that awakening?
Yeah, it's a journey, right? I'm really at the beginning of it, to be honest with you. but I feel like very deeply I'm just starting to get to know myself. And once I released all those roles and identities of the past and even presence, right? There is so much space. And you can do this, and you can do this. And so I did not really have a specific moment, maybe not one. I probably had few moments, right? As you grow and expand and evolve in your life, in experiencing life, that's how it was just, oh, here I realize, oh yeah, like I'm actually free of those labels, right? I'm free of those, which I even put myself, right? On me. And then it was a very, very weird feeling, the first feeling I had in this first moment, being free. Being free.
Yeah. A phrase that comes up for me is also that I didn't feel lonely anymore. That was a defining moment for me. It just, I felt whole.
Yeah.
So therefore, any emptiness or loneliness that I'd felt, that just disappeared in the moment.
Yes. So I had a very so I'm studying in a shamanic school, and that's part of my journey. And as growing in the studies and the practice, I moved into a really powerful process where you bring pieces of yourself from the past, from your life, and those pieces of yourself run away because they didn't feel safe with you, right? And that can be your inner child, that can be expression of yourself which you didn't have a space for, but she really wanted to sing, for example. And it was so important for her to have a creative expression. And you were hiding her in a closet for 10 years, right? But she is like, no, this is your power, and I want you, this is us. We are full when we do it, right? We are whole. And once I started actually going through that process of bringing those parts into myself and experiencing that, that's when the fullness started to come, right? And that's when this call came, let's talk about that, right? Because also one thing, you bring that part of you. So, bringing my inner child, right? When she wants to play and she wants to paint and she wants to have fun, and she never had that space for whatever reason in my life, right? You keep yourself accountable that you're gonna keep her happy, right? She's a part of you. And you want to make sure that if she wants to go and paint tomorrow, you're going to make that happen for her. Yeah.
So that sounds significant in finding yourself, is that you recognize that there's a little part of you, a younger part of you that needs the voice.
Yes.
As we're growing up, our minds think we can meet those needs outside, but actually our little girl inside us is trying to communicate to us all the time. I need this, I need that, I want that, I'm scared, come back and get me. That's a big turning point, isn't it? When you realize, oh, it's not just the adult me.
Yes, exactly, right? It can be creative you. It can be the one who is praying. It can be the one who's doing yoga, right? It can be the one who wants to repair and, renew old cars. It can be the one who wants to produce music. And, you realize that when you are 17, And all of a sudden, there is no space for it in the world, but it's for you to make space for it inside you. So then the world is finding that space for you. But that comes from within, right? And that's why this relationship with yourself and those different parts of you is so important to enjoy the life just as it is outside, and just you will always have those triggers and challenges and difficult moments, or you can call them difficult, right? Like it depends how, what the life wants you to experience. So that's normal. But if you are whole, because you accept different parts of you accept, your shadows, so your weaknesses, the things you don't want to look at, inside you, but you also accept your strength and your light. You come to the world as you, right? And you can be angry, and you can be frustrated, and you can be happy, and it's fine, right? It's fine to express all of these.
Well, that's part of the healing, isn't it? Because our inner child stops themselves from doing that because of the fear of being judged, being told off, being scared, being vulnerable, and we stop ourselves. It's learning, for you, reassuring her it's okay to express that.
Yes,
and then she grows.
Yes,
because she hasn't had that.
Exactly.
So if I could take you back maybe to your childhood, and if there's anything you wouldn't mind disclosing, is how do you think that your inner child was influenced by your environment?
I feel like a lot, especially that I was very open, very sensitive, that's probably the word, to feeling what others feel, what others think, feeling their needs, their desires, and not knowing that, not being aware of that, not being shown that early enough, made me actually shape myself, adapted to environment in a way that I hidden my parts, right? I grew up very quickly, not allowing myself, because that's what I realized recently. I'm an older sister, right? And being an older sister, when you're that open to seeing more than just a real world, so feeling the emotions of others, feeling the problems, feeling that they are tired, and trying to fix it.
So do you think that was your learned response for safety, or for connection and acceptance in your family, is that you became perceptive of the people around you? That was your your clairsentience was out there first, assessing the room. How's everyone feeling? What do they need? As your way of getting your needs met in the family.
Yes, I do feel like this is my gift as well, right? But now, because I worked on building that strength inside me and the boundaries, I'm not people pleasing as I was when I was very little, right? Because that clairsentience really comes from the fact, okay, you feel everybody, everything around. If this is a lot when you are little and you don't really know what are the coping mechanisms, how to they're building somewhere around you, you're trying to manage all that, what you see and feel, but how you're going to express it, right? Like it's a very overwhelming situation. So definitely shaped, but Also had lots of support from my family, so from my closest family. So that was really beautiful, because staying in that support really gave me that protection for the time I needed it, right? So that was something what really also inspired me. It's really incredible, because I was meant to be born in the family of doctors. My parents are doctors, and now stepping into a path of a healer and knowing that deep inside me there is a shamanic soul to healing. It's the power is to heal, however it comes through me, right? So I understood that I was meant to be there, and the moment of understanding it really changed the way how my inner child even started to react to my parents now, right? But that's really important, because there is no toxic emotions there, right? For whatever was in the childhood. And very often we have that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so your family of doctors, how do they see your version of healing?
They opening up more to what I do, and actually I'm offering my sessions to them as gifts for birthday or different, just as a giveaway, right? So they can experience. So yes, so they can step out of the world they're used to, and it's incredible, because the key for the journey I am at, so in shamanic energy medicine, and really in combining Western and Eastern medicines, or Asian medicine and Western medicine, it's to put them together. So I've learned so much from my parents, and learning and having them there as a support in understanding, when you serve, when you call, when you respond to the call, that gave me that really good example of, yes, like you can respond to the call, and yes, you can serve, right? And never close yourself for what the Western medicine can give, especially on the path which I'm now, right? So with, you could do your own or self-healing, or go and experiment with different healing techniques while you are on psychotherapy, right, with someone. And that's perfect, because then you combine it together and it's like a beautiful dance.
Yeah. That's what I'm noticing with the work that I do now, is how it's evolved from the very theoretical training that I had into noticing that the clients come without knowing it, is wanting to search on their spiritual journey, wanting to find themselves, wanting to find that meaning. And it's great to be able to incorporate that in the sessions.
Yes,
It's about
exactly.
going in on us and finding us and what we want and what every level of us is trying to tell us. And when we can tune into that, it sounds like on your journey, it's been layers that you've pulled back. So you said that when you had your breakdown, you went into CBT therapy, which was about understanding learning to listen to what your body's telling you, learning to listen to the emotions. But it was a very surface level learning. But as you peel each level away, we get closer and closer to our core selves. And then I don't know whether this is an experience you've had, but it then starts to accelerate. It then starts to feel louder. It then starts to become autonomous. And all of a sudden, everything has the meaning, and the meaning's there immediately. And then you're starting to, I suppose, the vibration of us is changing, and then we're attracting different people. And okay, we can use the phrase, it's a journey.
Yeah,
But,
of course.
we're going into fifth gear here.
Yes.
And
Yes. Yeah, well, it's also moving faster. So the energy world and the world of emotions and this, connection with your soul, the intuition, that's moving very fast. Obviously, the world of the material world is moving slower because the body is dense, a set of cells, right? And they're like, so it's gonna take you 20 minutes to get somewhere, right? Energy moves with the speed of light, right? For example, and then obviously you need 20 minutes to drive somewhere to get to place. But the world is moving much quicker now, right? So if something took you, I don't know, a year, a healing journey, or overcoming for example, overcoming a burnout might have taken you a year, this time it might be more intense to overcome because the healing is more intense and you understand much more about yourself, but it might take you way shorter, right? It might be 3 months. It's not to say that we want to speed up everything, nothing like that, but it's just to say that the world is changing and the vibration of the world, how the energy moves is changing. So obviously, once you step into that and you start to listen, take off those layers, listen to yourself and strengthen your intuition.
Well, our consciousness in the world is going very fast. It is, as you said, speeding up now, isn't it?
Yes.
We are
We can
becoming
see.
more aware than our parents were
Yeah.
and their parents were. There's a
Exactly.
greater sense of who we are and what we're here for.
Yeah.
And for those that start on that journey of opening up, it does get quicker, it does speed up. And, on a human level, we're wrapped around our soul and we're here for a very short time.
Yes.
And I did a podcast with a lady yesterday who was talking about her spiritual journey through her relationships. And I mean, her story was just like, oh my God, how have you crammed all this in your life? But it is like a fast track.
Yes.
We have a
Yes.
lot to learn. We have a lot to learn, and it's it does it does take us through our learning much quicker.
Yes. Well,
So
it's
fulfilling.
also, yes, it is. When I look at when I compare my days now, how fulfilling and full they are with what I want to do, comparing to my days when I was after the burnout and really procrastinating because I realized that there is no satisfaction, fulfillment from what I do. Like there was no resource in energy to do whatever I wanted. Whereas now, after probably around 2 years of healing, and working on myself and getting to know myself for the purpose of serving others. Like when I look at my days sometimes, they are intense. There is a day when I'm in the forest all day because I need that, and I'm just turning off all the medias and just know I need to be with myself. But there are days that they are really intense. And it was incredible to experience how my mind built lots of limitations around, oh, this is too much, right? This is over, this is overwhelming, right? So obviously they were probably from the childhood as well, right? When I was in a similar situation, there was so much going on and I had to find safety in myself. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to shut down myself from everything what I see around, and I'm just going to be here, right? And like, don't look at me, right? And now it's like, no, like if you want, and it's incredible to see the difference and how much finding that relation, those parts of you, going into terms with them, learning, okay, so what do we want to do today, right? What do we need to do today? And really listening to that intuition, how much that accelerates your life.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be fast. It's not about that. It's just, it brings you things you want to, or it makes you do things you want to, right? And all of a sudden you have space for it.
So it's like a radio dial, isn't it? You're just fine-tuning it until all of a sudden it becomes very clear. And as we learn to listen to ourselves, we're just fine-tuning. It all becomes clear.
Exactly. That's actually a perfect expression to add here. Yeah. Yes,
well, it's very nice to be able to talk to someone that's understands it on that deep level. You know, I came onto the podcast to talk about ourselves, and it's gone off in the way it was supposed to go off. It's taken its direction.
Of course.
And I know that when I put it out there to the world, the right people will come to it. As you said, it's a vibrational thing, and so we will attract the right listeners to the podcast. As of all the different variety of podcasts that I've chosen, we'll pick what resonates with us. But essentially, I think if we were to summarize this, it is, if you can just find some space within yourself to just stop and listen, as you did all those years ago, even if that voice is very faint, it will take you on that journey. It will take you into what you need to do to find yourself. And they may be very practical things to start, like having a bath, or just reading a nice book, or wearing some nice clothes, or it's the start. We all start somewhere, and just allowing that volume to just tune up. And then you'll meet people, and you'll attract things in your life, and you'll start to see that the universe will put you in different directions that get you on the right path.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It sounds like you really have a clear picture of who you are now and what you want. And this is not the end game. This is not the end game. You're just on this journey.
Yes. Yeah, there is a part of me which wants to keep it as a mystery, which is probably the most challenging. And in all that journey, you take very different steps. So it's really important to find that courage inside you all the time, right? And it's fine if, like, tomorrow you're going to be tired and you just want to, like, quit it. It's fine, right? So just quit it for a day, and then, or for a week, right? But then, like, allow yourself to come back, because it really brings, that fulfillment and the peace inside you, right? That when someone comes and asks you, what do you want? You actually have the answer, right? And if you don't have the answer, that's okay as well. Checking with yourself next day. What I feel like is we don't have to be so fast in making I want to build a relationship with myself, and I want to have it tomorrow, because everybody is putting that pressure. The world is putting that pressure because that's the pace the world is moving in, but it does not. It has its own pace, right? So remember that. That's probably really important.
And if you look back on your life, you can see that everything that's happened to you has led you to this point. And so there is no rush, because we all get there in the end. And that's something I've learned for myself, is to just trust the journey here. Is that, okay, we might have painful days, we might have difficult days, but it's all for the good, because we're always okay. And as you said, you don't want to know, you want it to be a mystery, to trust whatever's coming is going to be great.
Yes. Exactly. Or it's going to be an experience, right? And then the magic starts to happen. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful, right? And that's for everybody.
Yeah.
You don't have to go into a journey which I went, right? Where this is now my purpose, my mission, my path to go, and also to going that deep. It can be on your level, on your pace, right? And that's perfect. Yeah.
So for the listeners that land here, thank you for listening. Trust that you will be guided. Trust that everything will be okay. Trust that your mind, body, soul knows exactly what to do. It's just learning to listen.
Yes.
And you put that so beautifully today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was
It's
amazing.
been a real pleasure. It's been very
Yeah,
enlightening. And let's make a date to do it again.
yeah, of course. Oh, so nice. Definitely.
Anyway, take care. And
Yes.
thank you very
Thank
much again.
you.
Okay.
Yes.
See you.
Bye.